Hey there. So, what if I told you there is a Khasi legend about a snake that feeds on humans and might still be living among us today? Sounds wild, right? So, why don't you grab your popcorn? Because I already did mine. And let me tell you a story about one of Meghalaya's most terrifying yet most well known urban legends. It's a story I grew up hearing, even studied in school, and till today it pops up, in conversations, especially when, we are talking about fear, power, wealth. So, without any further ado, let me get right into the story. So, legend has it, once upon a time, like no, not like a fairy tale, but right here near Dain Thlen Falls, a stunning waterfall in Sohra, one of Meghalaya's most visited places today, a giant evil snake lived in a cave deep in the forest near the falls. And no, I'm not talking about your toxic ex or that fake friend in your friend group. I mean the literal monstrous snake, a massive, terrifying one, all right? Who's always hungry for, you guess it right, people, because I mentioned it earlier. Now, this snake wasn't your regular jungle creature, it was malevolent. Yeah, I know, big word. It means pure evil. It had a taste for human flesh. And get this, if you pass its cave in odd numbers, one of you would just vanish, like poof. But if you walk in even numbers, you were safe. Now just imagine going on a trek and suddenly doing the math like, wait, are we seven or eight? I mean, so people in the nearby village were freaked out, and rightly so. Mm, Folks were missing, they were disappearing, and nobody knew why. So they prayed and prayed, and one day the higher powers listened to them and sent Ulay Shillong. He is sort of a garden god. They sent him to investigate. And after some really good investigative work, like some really good CID kind of level of investigative work, he finally found out that it was a snake who was behind all this. To stop it, Ulay Shillong called upon Lao Sutnyo, okay, who's also known as Aim Sermo. So this guy was basically a saint warrior combo, and he came up with this genius plan. He would befriend the serpent by offering it food, mostly meat, and over time, as the clan began to trust him, it would slither up from its cave whenever Sutnyo would call, ready to eat. Then, one day, when he knew the time was right, Sutnyo brought a large iron rod from the market, heated it until it was glowing red, like a burning coal, and tricked the serpent into thinking it was food. The moment that greedy snake opened its mouth to eat, bam! Lao Sutnyo shoved the red hot iron down its throat. It screamed, thrashed around, caused literal earthquakes. Cliff's sides, they cracked. Sora shook. But in the end, the beast was dead. The end. Right? Wrong. Because here's where things get wild. So Lao Sutnyo gave the villagers a warning, a warning that they all have to eat each and every part of the snake. They cannot leave any part behind because if they do so, the snake would come back. All right. So the villagers did that exactly. They had a feast, a snake feast. Delicious. Everyone but one, a Khasi lady, a grandma, I think, did not do that. She took a piece of U Thlen's, body part with her to, I guess, give it to her grandchild. I know, so sweet. But she forgot about it, or the grandkid did not eat the, you know, the piece that his Grandma saved, and days later she heard something whispering from the box. That little piece of meat, it grew. The Thlen was reborn. Out of fear and shame, she did not tell anyone and she hid the snake. All right. And the snake made her an offer. Give me blood and I will give you wealth. And just like that, she became, or her family became, the first Nongshonos, people who literally, secretly raises a snake. They're called Nongshono. To feed it, they started stealing bits of people, like hair, nails, piece of clothing, because the Tlen didn't need a whole person, just a part of that person would suffice. With that, it could slowly suck away the victim's soul, and the victim would mysteriously fall sick and eventually die. And the scariest part is that it didn't end there. It did not end there. The Clarion did not return to its cave, its home, the jungle at all. It started moving from one home to another, making deals with people that if you would trade humanity, humans, you will be rewarded. But at what cost? That's why even today, some people say the Thlen still exists. We still believe that there is a cult called the Nongshonos, hidden in certain wealthy families, behind those fancy houses, old secrets, and whispered warnings. Yeah, so some people think that it's just a myth. Some people think that it's a story we tell kids to scare them. I personally think it's both spooky and symbolic. So maybe Uthlen was never just about a snake. Maybe it was a warning about what happens when greed, jealousy, and silence go unchecked. The folktale reminds us that the real monsters don't always live in caves. Sometimes they hide in ambition, envy, or the quiet choices we make to look the other way. In real life, too, people have traded human lives for wealth and power. Don't you agree? And the darkness we fear in stories often mirrors the one we carry within ourselves. So, yeah, maybe it's just a really good ghost story to tell around a bonfire. Either way, it stays with you. So, whether you believe in urban legends or not, but if you ever visit Sohra, you have to see this Dain Thlen Falls, because not only is it majestic, beautiful, but it has this certain eeriness, you know, around it, now that you know the legend behind it, correct? So, yeah, do visit Dain Thlen Falls in Sohra in Meghalaya. We've come to the end of today's urban legend. Leave a comment and, leave me a comment if you believe in Uthlen or you have heard of Unong Shono. And if you like such stories and you would like to hear more actually of these kind of folk tales from my homeland, my hometown, Meghalaya, then do subscribe and like, because your support means a lot. So this is me signing off from Eat and Tell. Until next time or until the next episode. I'll see you. Bye bye.